Some shows ask for patience. Give it 3 episodes, they say. It gets good. Forget that. Every single show on this list grabs you before the opening credits even finish. And it does not let go. 15 crime shows. And I mean crime in every direction the genre can bend. Mob wars, dirty cops, cold case detectives, assassins, martial arts turf wars, and one show about a fixer trying to keep 2 London crime families from wiping each other off the map entirely. Some of these are brand new, still airing as we speak. Some of these are old enough that people have been telling their friends to watch them for over a decade and still haven't stopped. And I guarantee, by the time we hit number 1, you're going to have cleared your entire weekend. 15 crime shows. All hook you instantly. Ranked. Let's go. Number 15. Task. Let's open with the one that turns cops versus robbers into something genuinely upsetting.
Whoever is hitting these houses, we find them, we find the boy.
The dark arts are strategic and close-knit a group as I've come across.
Mark Ruffalo plays Tom Brandis, a former priest turned FBI agent, assembling a task force to stop a string of violent robberies hitting drug houses outside Philadelphia. Tom Pelphrey plays Robbie, the man who is running robberies with his crew. Brad Ingelsby created this 7-episode series, the same writer behind Mayor of Easttown, and within the first episode, you already know exactly who's on both sides of this. There's no mystery to solve. The tension isn't who did it, it's watching 2 decent, broken men get pulled toward a collision neither of them wants, and neither can stop. The show is not presented as a usual cat-and-mouse thriller. It's total commitment to grief as the connective tissue between hunter and hunted. Tom is carrying loss he's never processed, and Robbie is drowning in desperation, dressed up as a plan, and the show refuses to let either man off easy. Amelia Jones as Robbie's niece caught directly between his crimes and the investigation closing in on him gives the show's back half genuine emotional stakes that go beyond the robberies themselves. Devastating, patient, and one of the best reviewed crime dramas of the year. Number 14. Bodyguard. This show broke British television viewership records, and the very first episode explains exactly why within its opening 10 minutes.
Rest assured, Mum. I'll do what's required.
Stay down! It's okay. It's okay.
Richard Madden plays David Budd, a war veteran turned protection officer assigned to guard a British Home Secretary he politically despises. Richard Madden plays him with a coiled, barely contained intensity that earned him a Golden Globe. And the moment David is assigned to protect the woman whose policies he blames for his own trauma, the entire show becomes a ticking device with no safe place to look away from. Jed Mercurio created this 6-episode miniseries, and what makes Bodyguard hook you instantly is its refusal to let you trust anyone. Not the politician, not the police, not even David himself. Every episode ends by pulling the floor out from under whatever you thought was true. This is one of the most purely gripping thrillers in recent British television. A single, complete season, tense from its opening minutes and never once lets up. Number 13. The Day of the Jackal. Eddie Redmayne plays a sniper assassin so good at his job that intelligence agencies across Europe don't even agree he's real.
He's an exceptional assassin. He will kill again, unless we stop him.
There's no record of him, anywhere.
This guy's a ghost.
This reimagining of the classic 1973 thriller opens on a kill so clean, so procedural, so terrifyingly competent that you understand within minutes exactly why this man has never been caught. Lashana Lynch plays the MI6 agent obsessed with proving he exists, and the cat-and-mouse structure means every episode splits its time between the hunter and the hunted, both of them brilliant, both of them running out of room. Ronan Bennett developed this, and what separates it from a standard cat-and-mouse thriller is the craft on display in the Jackal's actual work. The show takes real, patient time with the mechanics of a hit, the planning, the disguises, the small margins for error that could unravel everything. Eddie Redmayne delivers captivating performance as the multi-layered assassin that let you enjoy the show even more. The show is gorgeously shot across some of Europe's most stunning locations. 10 tense episodes, already renewed for second season. Sharp, tense, and genuinely addictive. Number 12. Banshee. An ex-convict steals the identity of a murdered sheriff and takes his job in a small Pennsylvania Amish town. That's the pitch. That's also just the first 10 minutes.
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully perform the duties of Banshee County Sheriff, the office of which I now am.
Antony Starr, years before he became known worldwide as Homelander in The Boys, plays a man with no real name in the show, hiding in plain sight as the law in a town run by a psychotic Ukrainian crime boss he has unfinished, extremely personal business with. The fight choreography in this show is some of the best put on television. Long, brutal, bone-crunching sequences, filmed with real clarity and real physical stakes, in a genre where most shows cut away from violence far too quickly to let it actually land. The show runs 4 seasons, and it never abandons that premise. It just keeps raising the stakes on it, adding new criminal factions, deeper flashbacks into his past life as a thief, and an ever-escalating body count, all while he keeps the lie going. Banshee knows exactly what kind of show it is. It executes it with total confidence. Genre television at its most purely entertaining, elevated by a cast that works well above what the pulp premise strictly requires. Ridiculous, bloody, and enormously entertaining. Number 11. The Terminal List. A Navy SEAL comes home from a mission that killed his entire platoon and starts finding evidence that none of it was actually an accident.
Investigations are still ongoing into the failures of Operation Odin Sword.
Failed mission resulted in the death of 12 Navy SEALs.
Chris Pratt plays James Reese, a commander whose team was wiped out during a botched operation overseas, who returns home only to discover his own memory of the mission doesn't match the official reports, and that the people responsible for the discrepancy are considerably more powerful and more willing to kill again than he initially realizes. The show hook you immediately is its opening mission sequence. Chaotic, disorienting combat that plants the central mystery before you even fully understand what you're watching. The action sequences throughout are tightly choreographed and genuinely tense, but the show's real engine is Reese's escalating certainty that he's being deliberately gaslit by people with far more power than he has. Taylor Kitsch also appears as Reese's CIA-connected friend with a coiled, watchful ambiguity that made the character popular enough to earn his own spin-off that released last year, called The Terminal List: Dark Wolf. Propulsive, angry, and one of the most purely bingeable action thrillers of recent years. Number 10. Warrior. This started as an idea Bruce Lee pitched decades before it ever got made, and it took his own daughter fighting for years to finally bring it to screen.
You think you can take me on? That's the wrong question. Oh yeah? What's the right one? Do you really want to find out?
Set in San Francisco's Chinatown during the Tong Wars of the 1870s, this series follows Assam, a martial artist newly arrived from China, who becomes an enforcer for one of the neighborhood's most powerful criminal Tongs, while the city around him boils with racial tension, political corruption, and open gang warfare. Shannon Lee, Bruce Lee's daughter, spent years working to get her father's original concept made, and what resulted is one of the most sharply choreographed martial arts shows ever produced for television, using its historical setting to examine anti-Chinese violence and exploitation with a bluntness period drama rarely attempt. Here's what makes this worth the investment. The show never lets its exceptional fight sequences overshadow the genuine political and social tension driving the plot, giving every conflict real stakes beyond the choreography itself. 3 seasons total, rescued from cancellation by fan campaigns not once, but twice. And every time you watch an episode, you understand exactly why people fought for it. Number 9. The Gentleman. Guy Ritchie already built an entire film around this exact premise back in 2019. Turns out there was more than enough story left over for a full series.
You will receive a significant amount of money. In return, letting us carry out our activities.
You's like a dink in it. What the
An aristocrat inherits his family's ancestral estate and discovers, buried underneath the manicured grounds, one of the largest cannabis empires in the country, and the people running it have absolutely no intention of leaving quietly. One season from Guy Ritchie, expanding on his own 2019 film with new characters and a considerably longer runway to build them. Theo James plays Eddie, thrust reluctantly into a criminal enterprise he never asked to inherit, and Kaya Scodelario plays Susie, the operation's genuinely formidable actual manager, who understands this business considerably better than the man whose name is technically on the deed. Ritchie's signature style is all over this: rapid-fire dialogue, colorful gangster archetypes, and plotting that keeps twisting back on itself. But stretched across 8 episodes gives the show room to build out a genuinely large ensemble of criminal factions circling the same prize. Fast, stylish, and consistently funnier than a show this violent has any right to be. Number 8. Department Q. Every great cold case show needs one thing above everything else: a detective the rest of the department has already quietly given up on.
You want us to investigate us?
A brilliant detective survives an attack that kills a colleague and leaves his partner paralyzed, and the department's solution is to bury him in the basement with a cold case unit nobody expects to actually solve anything. 1 season, 9 episodes, based on UC Adler Olsen's novels. Matthew Goode plays DCI Carl Mork, relocated to Edinburgh for this adaptation, a man whose sharp intelligence is matched almost exactly by his complete inability to work well with literally anyone. Scott Frank, the mind behind The Queen's Gambit and Godless, wrote or co-wrote every episode and directed 6 of them himself, and it shows in the patience and control of the pacing. Number 7. Gangs of London. The opening scene throws a man off a rooftop before the title card even hits, and that's the show announcing exactly what it is.
A city of closed doors. By the time we were done, there would not be one single door that we could not get behind.
When the head of London's most powerful crime syndicate is assassinated, his son Sean inherits a fragile empire held together by alliances with Albanian, Kurdish, Nigerian, Irish, and Pakistani crime families, all of whom start circling the moment they smell weakness. Gareth Evans, the director behind The Raid, brought his background in genuinely brutal, meticulously choreographed action to television here, and the results are some of the most viscerally impressive fight sequences ever filmed for the small screen. Joe Cole plays Sean Wallace with volatile, grief-fueled instability, taking over his father's empire without the temperament or patience the job actually requires. Shope Derisu plays Elliot Finch, an undercover operative whose true loyalties become the show's central escalating tension. The show currently has 3 seasons. Each follows the same core idea: London's underworld power balance collapsing and reforming, but alliances, factions, and leadership shift completely season to season. Ferociously violent, genuinely unpredictable, and considerably smarter than its marketing suggests. Number 6. Gomorrah. This isn't a stylized crime fantasy. It's about as close to a documentary as fiction is legally allowed to get. A young man in Naples, born directly into the Camorra crime syndicate, has to choose between the mentor who raised him and his own increasingly ruthless ambition, a choice that will define an entire criminal dynasty across 5 brutal seasons. Based on Roberto Saviano's investigative book, the show depicts organized crime with a specificity and moral bleakness that made it a genuine cultural phenomenon in Italy, reportedly influencing the actual slang and fashion of real criminal organizations who started imitating what they saw on screen. Marco D'Amore plays Ciro Di Marzio, with cold, calculating survival instinct, while Salvatore Esposito plays Jenny Savastano, and his transformation from soft heir apparent to genuinely terrifying boss across the show's full run. The show refuses conventional protagonists entirely. Characters you're invested in die abruptly, and often, mirroring the genuine, disposable brutality of the world it's depicting, rather than protecting anyone for narrative convenience. 5 seasons, largely performed in Neapolitan dialect. Bleak, meticulously researched, and considered one of the finest European crime dramas ever made. Number 5. Top Boy. This show canceled after 2 seasons. Then Drake, a famous rapper and a genuine obsessive fan of the show, personally pushed Netflix to revive it, and it came back better than it ever was.
I know London. People pay a lot of money to get high. Dark, white, weed, all of that.
Set on a fictional East London estate, the series follows Dushane and Sully, 2 drug dealers navigating the brutal economics of the street trade, while the show refuses to look away from the kids getting pulled into it behind them. Ronan Bennett created the original 2 seasons in 2011, and after the show was canceled, Drake used his own production company to revive it for Netflix years later, giving the story room to complete an arc it never got to finish the first time around. Ashley Walters and Kane Robinson play the leads, with a weariness that only deepens across the revival's run. Men who got into this as teenagers, and they're now watching teenagers make the exact same mistakes they did. What makes Top Boy hook you back is how procedurally honest it is. This isn't a glamorized gangster fantasy. It's closer to a documentary about supply chains, loyalty, and the specific ways poverty forecloses options, wrapped inside genuinely tense, well-shot crime drama. Gritty, humane, and one of the finest British crime dramas ever made. Number 4. Mobland.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
We shake the right hands, break the wrong ones.
I think we have a situation developing.
A ruthless, street-smart fixer for one of London's most powerful crime families is suddenly stuck trying to prevent an all-out war with a rival gang. A war his own bosses seem almost eager to start. Guy Ritchie produces and directs key episodes of this, and the show assembles a genuinely staggering cast. Tom Hardy leads as Harry D'Souza, quiet and intensely loyal, flanked by Pierce Brosnan and Helen Mirren as the ice-cold patriarch and matriarch he answers to. What makes Mobland hook you immediately is the sheer power dynamic on display from its opening scenes. 3 genuinely intimidating screen presences, all playing characters who could destroy each other with a single sentence, circling one another with real menace. The show, originally conceived as a spin-off of Ray Donovan before becoming its own thing entirely, became Paramount Plus's biggest global series launch, pulling in over 26 million viewers. 10 episodes of escalating family warfare, already renewed for a 2nd and 3rd season. Number 3. The Penguin. This isn't a comic book spin-off pretending to be prestige television. It actually is prestige television.
America's a hustle.
Not that I'm complaining.
Colin Farrell plays Oswald Oz Cobb, the character audiences first met in Matt Reeves' The Batman, now given his own 8-episode series charting his ruthless rise through Gotham's criminal underworld, in the power vacuum left after the events of that film. Morin LaFranc created this HBO series, and what elevates The Penguin far above a standard comic book spin-off is its complete lack of interest in superhero spectacle. This is, structurally, a prestige crime drama in the tradition of The Sopranos or Boardwalk Empire, which happens to be set in Gotham City. Farrell, buried under hours of prosthetic makeup, delivers a performance built entirely on physicality and voice. A wounded, resentful, genuinely dangerous man whose rise is as tragic as it is horrifying. Kristen Milioti, as Sophia Falcone, matches him completely, in a performance that became one of the most acclaimed of the year. The show received widespread critical acclaim and multiple Emmy nominations, cementing it as one of the finest examples of prestige television built from comic book source material. Bleak, operatic, and one of the best surprises in recent television. Number 2. The Shield. This is the show that proved anti-heroes could carry an entire network drama, years before that became the industry standard.
All about bringing force down on the street. Why don't y'all take a look at what you got going on under your own roof?
Michael Chiklis plays Vic Mackey, the leader of an elite anti-gang unit in a fictional, corrupt division of the Los Angeles Police Department, whose team operates almost entirely outside the law, planting evidence, stealing from criminals, and committing genuine violence, all while presenting themselves publicly as the department's most effective weapon against gang crime. The pilot episode ends with a shocking act of violence from Vic himself that immediately establishes he is not a hero being occasionally compromised. He is, from the very beginning, a genuinely dangerous man the show refuses to redeem or excuse. Here's what makes The Shield one of the most important crime dramas ever produced. It essentially invented the modern anti-hero crime drama that Breaking Bad, The Wire, and a dozen others would later be compared to. And it did it first, faster, and dirtier than any of them. The show runs 7 seasons. The whole series is essentially one long, escalating cover-up, following that first murder outward as the lies pile up, the unit's crimes get bigger, and the walls slowly, inevitably, close in on all of them. Widely credited as one of the most influential crime dramas ever produced for television, and still one of the most purely addictive. Number 1. Boardwalk Empire. Let me start here, because this is, without a doubt, the finest crime series ever made for television.
Mr. Mayor, fellow members of the City Council, in less than 2 hours, liquor will be declared illegal by decree of the distinguished gentlemen of our nation's Congress.
Steve Buscemi plays Nucky Thompson, a corrupt treasurer turned bootlegging kingpin, in a series that opens with a champagne toast to the start of Prohibition and ends the same episode with a massacre. Michael Pitt, Michael Shannon, and a young Al Capone, played by Stephen Graham before he became one of the most in-demand actors in the genre, round out a cast operating at the absolute top of their game. Terrence Winter created this, executive produced by Martin Scorsese, who also directed the pilot. And what makes Boardwalk Empire one of the greatest achievements in television history is its sheer, sustained scale. A meticulously recreated 1920s Atlantic City, built from the ground up, populated by characters whose arcs span the entire 5-season run with real, earned consequence. Buscemi's Nucky is a man perpetually caught between the politician he presents himself as and the criminal he actually is, and the show never lets him, or the audience, forget the difference, even as his own justifications grow thinner with every passing season. The show runs 5 seasons, and it tracks the entire arc of Prohibition itself, from Nucky's rise in 1920 through the empire he builds. The pilot alone reportedly cost $18 million to produce, an extraordinary sum for television at the time, and every dollar is visible in the finished product. The best crime shows on this entire list, and one of the finest pieces of television ever produced. That's the end of today's list. 15 crime shows that hook you immediately and never let go. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these have you already watched? And which one are you starting tonight? And out of everything on this list, which show do you think deserves way more recognition than it's actually gotten? Also, how did you like this video? Your feedback genuinely helps me make better recommendations and create videos you'll enjoy even more. And if you enjoy the video, do like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.